Her breaking point became her beginning. Purity had always believed that life happened to her. She worked hard. She dreamed quietly. She wanted financial freedom, a business, a beautiful home, and a life she could be proud of. But she always found reasons to wait. I need more money. I need more experience. Maybe one day. Somewhere along the way, Purity had convinced herself that big dreams were for other people. Then everything changed. One morning, she received a phone call. She had lost her job. The income she depended on was suddenly gone. That evening, Purity sat on the edge of her bed, staring at her phone. For the first time, she had no idea what tomorrow would look like. Fear took over. How will I survive? What am I going to do? What if my life never gets better? For weeks, she felt defeated. She watched other people move forward while she felt stuck. Someone bought a house. Someone launched a business. Someone got promoted. Every success seemed to remind her of everything she hadn't achieved. Then one morning, something inside her changed. She wasn't suddenly confident. She wasn't suddenly happy. She was simply tired of being afraid. Purity stood in front of her mirror. Her eyes were swollen from crying. She looked exhausted, but she looked at herself and asked, "Okay, so this happened. Now what?" That question changed everything. Not why me. Not why did this happen. Not who is going to save me. Just, now what? She opened a notebook and wrote, "If I had to rebuild my life from zero, what would I build?" Then she began writing. Financial freedom, a business, investments, a home, discipline, confidence, a stronger mind. And underneath everything, she wrote, "I refuse to let this moment decide the rest of my life." The next morning, she began. There was no miracle, no sudden fortune, just a woman with a notebook and a decision. She learned. She applied for opportunities. She was rejected. She tried again. She started a small business. It barely made money at first. Some days she wanted to quit. But every time she remembered the woman sitting on that bed, wondering if her life was over, she kept moving. Slowly, Purity changed. She stopped saying, "I'm not good at business." Instead, "I can learn." She stopped saying, "I don't know how to invest." Instead, "I can learn how money works." She stopped saying, "People like me don't own houses." Instead, "What would I need to do to become a homeowner?" That question changed everything. It didn't assume impossibility. It assumed there was a path. So she found the path. She saved. She sacrificed. She learned. She failed. She adjusted. And eventually, years later, Purity stood outside a house that belonged to her. She held the keys in her hand and remembered the woman she had once been. The woman who thought successful people were simply lucky. The woman who believed her circumstances were permanent. The woman who was afraid to begin. Purity smiled, because she finally understood something. The crisis hadn't created her. It had introduced her to herself. Before everything fell apart, she had never discovered how resourceful she could be. She had never discovered how much she could learn. She had never discovered how many times she could fail and still rise. She had never discovered the woman hiding underneath her fear. The crisis didn't make her powerful. It forced her to discover the power that had already been inside her. Years later, people looked at Purity and wondered how she had changed so dramatically. They saw the business. They saw the house. They saw the confidence. They didn't see the rejection emails. They didn't see the sleepless nights. They didn't see the tiny beginnings. They didn't see the woman who had started with almost nothing but a decision. Purity knew the truth. She hadn't become unstoppable because nothing could hurt her. She became unstoppable because she stopped believing that being hurt meant being finished. A lost job wasn't the end. Failure wasn't a final identity. Rejection wasn't a prophecy. A bad season wasn't a bad life. Her circumstances could change, because she could change. And that was when Purity finally understood. Sometimes your breaking point isn't where your story ends. Sometimes it's where you finally begin.